Welcome students. In this session we are going to focus on the poem If You Forget Me, which is written by Pablo Neruda. Pablo Neruda is a very popular Chilean poet. He is from the country Chile. Pablo Neruda is a very popular poet who received a Nobel Prize in Literature. So we all know about Nobel Prize. It's a very prestigious, very precious prize which is received by very few people on the earth. We already learned that Pablo Neruda is from the country Chile, which is located in South America. Maybe you have some geographical knowledge, because unless we understand the geographical location of the poet, we may not be able to understand the themes, the concepts, the ideas expressed by the poet. So here the poet is from South America. South America is a continent, is a very huge continent which is near to North America. North America is a very popular continent which consists of USA and Canada. So when we come back to South America, in South America we can see countries like Brazil, Argentina and Chile. So in the next slide I am going to show you the location, the geographical location of Chile. Pablo Neruda is a poet, and he is not only a poet but also a politician and a revolutionary. So politician and revolutionary, these things we need to keep in our mind, because they have some unique ideologies and they strive for their ideologies throughout their life. In the same way, Pablo Neruda also fought for his ideologies. That's why he was expelled from his country. He had to live in exile in foreign countries for a considerable part of his lifetime. So here is a look at the world map. It is a part of the world map, not the complete world map. Image is missing the Asia and the Australia. So here we can see, I will show you where they are. This is North America, this is North America. So here is the America, and the northern side we can see the Canada. This is USA, and if we combine these two, it becomes the North America continent. And here is the South America continent, where we can see this is the Chile, this is Argentina, and above it is Brazil, and this is Africa. We all know Africa. This is Europe. So we have a basic idea of where the Chile is. Chile is a coastal country. It is situated in southern America. And this is the Chile country. It's a coastal country. And this is Argentina. Now, If You Forget Me is one of his best poems. Every poet writes so many poems. Out of those many poems, they bring them good name, bring them awards, bring them prizes. So If You Forget Me is a very popular poem, and not only popular, it's one of his best poems. And it is written during the political unrest in Chile. Usually when countries fight for their independence, or there is some political disturbances, there could be some political unrest which may lead to civil wars sometimes. So during the political unrest means there is a political disturbance in the country Chile, he was in exile. So here we need to understand and we need to learn a word, that is exile. Exile means they prohibited from entering into their country, that is Chile. So he had to live somewhere in other countries, exile, bahishkarinchadam. In Telugu we call it bahishkarinchadam, live in other countries. Okay, so this is about the Pablo Neruda. When we come back to the poem consists of 48 lines in 6 stanzas. What is a stanza? So we can clearly see the poem has 6 stanzas. And what is a stanza? Stanza is a division of the poem. Stanza is a division of the poem. When you look at the poem, if you can see with your eyes and you can say This poem is divided into several units, and those units are called stanzas. So here this poem is divided into 6 stanzas, and they are uneven. That means they are not in a particular pattern. Each stanza consists of some lines, and when we are going through an uneven poem, the number of lines in each stanza is not equal. Ante first stanza may have 6 lines, second stanza may have 8 lines, third stanza may have only 2 lines. So the number of lines is uneven, and the total number of lines in this poem is 48 lines we can see in this poem. And the division, we can see the division. Pablo Neruda was in exile in foreign countries. Just now we learnt about this. So exile is a word we need to learn in this context. He was in exile. The government of Chile prohibited him from entering into the country, so he had to stay in the foreign countries. And the most important thing, what is the theme of this poem? There is some ambiguity about the theme of this poem, because some people say that this poem depicts his love towards his wife. That means he wrote this poem to express his love towards his wife. And some analyzed that this poem is written to express his love towards his motherland. So we cannot say whether it is written for his wife or his motherland. So we may assume that it could have been written for his wife, or it could have been written for his motherland. To conclude, we are not sure whether it is written for his wife or motherland. Now we come to the glossary. Glossary is the meanings for the difficult words that we are going to find in this poem. So here we will have a look at the glossary. Impalpable, that which cannot be easily understood. So if we cannot understand something easily, that we can say impalpable. Aroma, aroma is a pleasant smell, wonderful smell, aroma, aromatic, a particularly pleasant smell, a good smell that we are attracted to. Banner, a long strip of cloth with a slogan or design. Banners is a very popular word which we don't need to discuss here, because everyone knows about a banner. We can see them in streets, roads, around shops, across the streets. So banner is a very popular word. Destined, as though following a plan, originated from destination, destiny. Destination means the place where you are going to, your goal, your aim. Destiny means fate. So when you understand destiny and destination, you will definitely you are going to understand what is destined. Implacable, that which cannot be appeased. Extinguished, put out by something. Usually extinguished indicates fire. That means something that extinguishes, that puts out a fire or a desire. So here are some images which are useful to understand the poem well. Since you may not be able to understand some words which come across the poem, you need to know the meanings, and you need to have some idea about the words that appear in the poem. So we will begin with the first one. The first one is autumn. So autumn is a season, particularly it is used in western countries. So what is an autumn? Autumn is a season where trees shed their leaves. Trees shed their leaves. What is the meaning of autumn? Is a season in which trees shed their leaves. So here in the image we can see so many leaves are fallen on the ground. So this is the best image for autumn. And the second word is crystal moon. So here something we can see here. This is in the shape of a moon, first thing. and it is made of crystal. It is made of crystal. So what is a crystal moon? Crystal moon is a particular thing which is made of crystal and which is in the shape of a moon. Usually we find these kind of things in jewelry or decorative pieces which we keep in our homes. So crystal moon is nothing but this kind of a thing. And if we move forward, yeah, this is a fireplace. This is a fireplace which is mostly seen in the movies, because in our tropical countries usually we don't find fireplaces in our homes in India, because ours is a tropical country. That means the climate is hot. That means the climate is hot and we don't need these kind of fireplaces. Usually fireplaces are found in western countries where the climate is cold and they need fireplace to keep themselves warm. Okay, and usually North India also, some states may have these fireplaces like Himachal Pradesh or Kashmir or some other states. And this is Isles. Okay, ISLES, Isles. This is nothing but a group of islands. I think you are very familiar with the word islands. So here the S is silent, and island is a one particular island is called an island, and if there is a group of islands then they are called isles. So if we here in this picture we can see so many islands are there. Though it is taken from the top view, it appears to be very small, but they are actually huge in nature. People reside in these islands. So isles is nothing but a group of islands. And the next one is log. Log is nothing but wood which is used in the fireplace, to burn the fire, burn the wood and make the fire. Wood or log burns, we can find the ash. We know what ash is. I think you are familiar with the word ash. Now we come to the next image. The word is roots, and it's a very popular word, and we can see the roots are here. Every tree has roots. And here is the last picture, and the word we are going to learn is shore. Shore, this is the sea or ocean, and this is the shore. Shore is nothing but the bank. Rivers have banks and sea has the shore. Oddu or Tiramu we can call it. So this is the shore. So here these are the difficult words you are going to find in the poem, and now we are very familiarized ourselves with the words, so we are ready to enter into the poem. So what is the poem we are going to learn? That is If You Forget Me by Pablo Neruda. Here 6 stanzas of various lengths that we already learned in the previous slide. There are 6 stanzas of various lengths. That means unequal, uneven lengths. We have entered into the first stanza. This stanza appears to be a small one because it has only 2 lines. Though it appears to be a little one, that is a small stanza, yet it suggests it is going to give us a strong message. The poet is going to give the readers or his beloved a strong message through this first stanza. So what is the first stanza? We can see clearly there are only two lines in the first stanza, and those lines are, I want you to know one thing. So the poet is very clear about his intention. He is very clear about what he is going to explain us, tell us or reveal us. Let's move on to the second stanza. Here is the second stanza. You can see it, the second stanza, and it appears to be a lengthy one. And we can see several new words in the stanza that we have already learned in the previous slides. So what are those new words? One is crystal moon. We already learned crystal moon is a moon shaped piece. It's a thing that can be used in so many different things, like they are used in jewelry, they are used in decorative things. And we can see atom is a new word that we already learned. And fireplace, impalpable, log, aromas, these we have already seen. Now, what does poet wants to reveal in the second stanza? What does he wants to express? The poet expresses his love towards his beloved in the second stanza. In the first stanza, poet gives us he suggests that he is going to give us a strong message, and in the second stanza, he expresses his love towards his beloved. Maybe his beloved is his wife or the motherland. We need to understand depending on the context. So what's happening here? I'll read out the second stanza first, then we'll discuss what is happening here. You know how this is. If I look at the crystal moon, at the red branch of the slow autumn at my window, if I touch near the fire the impalpable ash or the wrinkled body of the log, everything carries me to you. As if everything that exists, aromas, light, metals, are little boats that sail toward those eyes of yours that wait for me. What is the message he is trying to give us? The poet is sitting beside a window, watching through the window, and he can see at a crystal moon, and he can see at the autumn dry red leaves, because we are discussing about autumn, the season is autumn, and there are so many leaves that are fallen from the trees, and he is looking at those dry red leaves, and the crystal moon and the dry red leaves, all these reminding him of his beloved. Not only these two are mere instances, mere examples, but everything that he looks at, everything that he touches, everything that he does, everything that he thinks reminds him of his beloved. The poet doesn't want to remember his beloved's memories, so he moves into the house and he reaches the fireplace. When he looks at the impalpable ash in the fireplace, usually in any fireplace we can find the logs, the ashes, and many other things. So he looked at the ash, and that ash reminded him of his beloved. And the wrinkled body of the log, that means there is a half burnt log lying in the fireplace. That log also making him remind of his beloved. Everything carries to be, not only these tangible products. Tangible means the things that we can touch. So here we need to understand the difference between tangible and intangible. So tangible are the things that we can touch, and intangible are the things that we cannot touch. We know that they exist, we can smell them, we can feel them, but we cannot touch. For example, if there is some wind, some aroma, like a wonderful smell, you can feel that, but you cannot touch them. And tangible, all the products that you can touch come under tangible category. That means pen, paper, mobile phone, all these come under tangible. Now when we look at the poem, the impalpable ash, this is tangible, log is tangible. So that not only the tangible things, but also the intangible things make him remind of his beloved. So what are the intangible things that were mentioned in the poem? The intangible things are aroma, the wonderful smell. So smell cannot be touched, cannot be measured. So you only have to feel it, but you cannot touch it. And light, another intangible thing. Okay. So these two are the intangible things. And the sound coming from the metals is also intangible. The volume, the sound, the music is also intangible. So the poet explains us that not only the tangible things but also the intangible things makes me remember my beloved. This is the concept of the second stanza. All these things is taking him to the Isles of Yours. That means there are all these things taking him to sail in a boat towards his beloved. Now the third stanza, not only the third stanza but also third, fourth, fifth. These three stanzas indicate that the love will not last unless the two care for each other. These three stanzas give us a strong message, and that message is love will not, won't last unless the two care for each other. So, if the two care for each other, if the couple care for each other, then only the love will last forever, forever, last forever. And if out of the two, if anyone doesn't care the other, that means he ignores the other, then the love will not last. It will perish, it will disappear. So the three stanzas, 3, 4, 5, these three stanzas give us the same message. So first I will go through the third stanza, then we will go through the fourth, fifth and sixth. So what is the third stanza? Well, now if little by little you stop loving me, I shall stop loving you little by little. The stanza, the lines are very clear. You can see only 3 lines here, and they are crystal clear, very easily understood. So what is the, it indicates a condition. And what is the condition? If you don't love me, I shall stop loving you little by little. So we can understand through the third stanza that love is a two-way process. So it is not a one-way process, but it is a two-way process. Let's move on to the next stanza. If suddenly you forget me, do not look for me, for I shall already have forgotten you. It is somewhat mystic. It appears to be something mystic. So what is this? If you forget me, I will definitely going to forget you. If we can simply put that in simple words, if you forget me, I am going to forget you. So this is a, we can say this is a threat. It's a threat. Okay. These three stanzas suggest an implicit threat. That means if you don't love me, then I am not going to love you. It's a forewarn. So the word we need to learn here is forewarn. So it's a threat, it's a forewarn. Forewarn is nothing but warn means a warning. A warning, and fore means prior. That means before something happens, if someone warns you, then it is called a forewarn. That means you need to be alert and you need to take care of things and you need to prevent the damage that is going to happen. Forewarn. Fore means before. You can see F-O-R-E is here. And the next one, fifth stanza. If you think it long and mad, the wind of banners that passes through my life, and you decide to leave me at the shore of the heart where I have roots, remember that on the day at the tower I shall lift my arms and my roots will set off to seek another land. Again, I have already said 3, 4, 5 are the stanzas that give us a thread. Okay, so what poet wants to tell us through the fifth stanza? So it is, if you think it long and mad, if you decide, now we come to the important lines. If you decide to leave me at the shore where I have roots. So the poet has roots at the shore. Every tree has roots, and here we need to imagine, we need to visualize that the human beings have also roots. Okay, so here the poet is having roots, and if you leave me at the shore, and if she ignores him, if she leaves him, on that day, when she leaves him, I shall lift my arms and my roots will set off to seek another land. So I will remove my roots from this shore and I will start my journey to another land. So that indicates, if you forget me, definitely I am also going to forget you, and I shift my focus to something else. So this is the clear message that we can find in the poem, fifth stanza of this poem. And the last one is the sixth stanza. Fortunately, in this sixth stanza we can find hope and optimism. So what is hope and optimism? So everything is going to be fine. Optimism, and the person who has optimism is called optimistic. And the meaning of optimism is, optimistic person is the person who looks at the brighter side of things. So the positive thinker, he looks at only at the positive side of things. Okay, get back to the stanza. So in this stanza, the poet is having some hope, and in this stanza, the poet suggests that reciprocation. See, look at this word. Reciprocation of love between two only keeps their love ever fresh and great. So reciprocation, what is reciprocation? Reciprocal means mutual, giving each other. So unless the two persons love each other, the love doesn't last forever. So the same concept that we already we have already seen in the last stanzas, that is also repeated here. So what is the sixth stanza? But if each day, each hour, you feel that you are destined for me with implacable sweetness, if each day a flower climbs up to your lips to seek me, ah my love, ah my own, in me all that fire is repeated, in me nothing is extinguished or forgotten, my love feeds on your love, beloved, and as long as you live it will be in your arms without leaving mine. So we can see some sort of hope, and the poet feels that they are going to live together in the future. But before going into that, we need to remember the words that we have already learned. This time, implacable and extinguished, put off. Yes, so these are the words. Yeah, so what does the poet suggest in the sixth stanza? He suggests that the reciprocation of love between the two only keeps their love ever fresh and great. If there is no reciprocation, there will be no love. That means if you don't love each other, then the love doesn't last long. Both are made for each other. The poet believes that he and his beloved are made for each other, and he is optimistic. He has hopes that they will live together, they will meet again and live together. He will not forget her, and he assures her that he will not forget her, and he believes that she also won't forget him. They both live and die together. So they both live and die together. That means their love is eternal. So this is the sixth stanza. Through these six stanzas, Pablo Neruda expresses his views about the love, the eternal love. So that's all for today.